Now, London's new MPs were sworn into Parliament today, so we're eager to get to their new jobs on time. Fleur Anderson was trying to commute to Westminster from Putney, where last week she became the only Labour candidate to gain a seat. But first, the weather hampered her progress, then the tube station was closed, demand for Uber was high, so were the prices, and then the South Western Railway strikes meant trains were too busy to board. Our political correspondent Simon Harris joined her on a very problematic first day.
Winning the election was the easy bit. Now comes the hard part, getting to work on time.
Good morning, can I have a latte please?
Sure.
Fleur Anderson gave herself 90 minutes to commute from her Putney constituency to Parliament, first by bike and then tube. Plenty of time. Unless, of course, the district line is playing up, and today it was.
When's it likely to be open again?
I really don't know. Nothing moved.
Nothing at all. Very disappointed to see that the district line's closed again. Signalling failure has been a problem along this line for a long time.
Time for plan B, summon an Uber maybe, but not at these prices.
So you're trying to get an Uber, and what are they saying?
About £50.
To get from here to
Victoria.
£50?
Yes.
The new MP headed for Putney Station on the main line, along with everyone else.
Everyone from East Putney's had to come over to Putney. Putney's now full. It's just, this is exactly what's experienced by people across the constituency so often.
It didn't help that members of the RMT were on strike. Still, waiting on a wet platform allowed time to ponder the task ahead.
There are lots of promises being made by Boris Johnson at the moment about police and doctors and nurses, and I want to be making sure that he does deliver on those. He's talking about bringing our country back together, but will he really?
Ladies and gentlemen, your girl speaking once again. I do apologise for your incredibly uncomfortable journey this morning.
Eventually, we managed to squeeze onto a train heading for Waterloo.
Are you going to make it on time?
It doesn't look like I'm going to make it on time now. I don't have a boss, actually, that I can tell that I'm not coming in to be on time, but I will arrive and make the most of it when I get there.
Miss Anderson acknowledges her new lifestyle will have an impact on her family.
My husband has been working abroad a lot. He's an aid worker. So really thinking about his international work and how much he can be abroad, that's the biggest challenge that we've been talking about at the moment. And I think we both think he's going to have to maybe make some changes to that so that he'll be at home more.
Waterloo at last. Trying to make up time, the best option was to jump in a cab.
I've been living and working in London for 25 years and never got a cab to work, so this is a first day for lots of different things.
Eventually, she's there. Late, but excited.
There's so much I want to do in the next 5 years, and this is just the start of my journey here, so it's brilliant to be here at last anyway.
Even if it did take almost 2 hours to travel from Putney to Parliament. Simon Harris, ITV News, Westminster.
Well, fire safety wasn't the only issue that formed part of the Queen's speech. New laws toughening up sentencing and tackling knife crime are planned, along with a law to reduce disruption to passengers caused by rail strikes. Well, today is the 17th day of walkouts this month by the RMT union on South Western Railway. And in response to the announcement, members joined a protest outside Parliament, as our political correspondent Simon Harris reports.
Standing room only on overcrowded trains, posters warning of delays and cancellations, picket lines outside stations and apologetic staff.
I do apologise for your incredibly uncomfortable journey this morning.
It's all too familiar for tens of thousands of commuters. But is the age of the train strike about to end? When the Queen outlined the new government's priorities in her speech in Parliament, it was clear ministers have the rail unions in their sights.
To ensure people can depend on the transport network, measures will be developed to provide for minimum levels of service during transport strikes.
For the past 3.5 years, commuters, first on Southern and now on South Western, have been on the front line of a dispute between the RMT and rail bosses over the role of guards. There have been more than 100 days of strikes since April 2016. The current walkout on South Western is the longest so far, the entire month of December.
The government says strikes on the railways will be allowed, but the unions will have to let some trains run under a so-called minimum service agreement.
And it's a question of balancing the right to strike with the right of the general public.
Why shouldn't the rail unions have the right to bring the railways to a standstill?
Well, bringing the railways to a complete standstill has a huge impact on the general public. It denies them their right to go to work, to go to hospitals, to see their loved ones, and this legislation will balance those rights.
But the RMT says the new measures amount to a complete ban on rail strikes. The union was supported outside Parliament today by Labour MPs. The General Secretary, Mick Cash, watched the Queen's speech on my phone.
23 words, which ends a fundamental right workers have had in this country for centuries, is going.
But hasn't your union brought this upon yourselves?
No, at the end of the day, we all have fundamental democratic rights, human rights, and this government is attacking workers, attacking working people.
The RMT says the fight against the new legislation starts here.
Simon, there was lots in the Queen's speech, but also an announcement about Boris Johnson's cabinet today.
Yes, Zac Goldsmith, the Tory MP for Richmond Park, who backed Brexit and lost his seat to Liberal Democrats last Thursday, is being allowed to keep his job as an Environment Minister, attending cabinet as well. There's been speculation all week that he's going to be promoted to the House of Lords, and that's exactly what's happened today. You will notice the government chose to slip out this news on a very busy day in Parliament, late in the day. So Zac Goldsmith is now Lord Goldsmith, and some of the government's opponents are not impressed.
Well, I'm quite surprised, to be honest. I mean, he was voted out by the voters of Richmond Park last week, and I don't see any reason why he should suddenly be back in government. It very much looks to me like this is a government that just, you know, appoints whoever it wishes, regardless of voters' wish, you know, whatever the voters might have intended.
Zac Goldsmith, Lord Goldsmith, will not be paid a salary as an Environment Minister, but that is unlikely to deflect the accusations against the government of cronyism.
No. Simon, thank you very much.